What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Ryan Poles just spoke to the media. Nothing earth-shattering there, but we could share a couple things. We have a few segments cooked up today. This will be more of a kind of standard live show, so excited to come hang out. Kobe Bryant talking to the media now. I think Devin Bush might be as well. So if anything interesting pops out of those pressers, I will pass that along. But other than that, happy to be back with you guys. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from today. And day 4 free agency, things have certainly slowed down. Not a ton going on today. The Bears did announce that they have all re-signed Jordan McFadden. Did a video on that earlier. But from a Bears standpoint, it's been pretty slow. One thing I will say off the bat here, Cullen, is Ryan Poles did acknowledge that the Bears had some dialogue with the Raiders. He said it past tense, so I don't think there's been much since the trade fell apart with Baltimore, if any. He didn't offer much more than that, but if there was any doubt whether or not the Bears at least had some interest in trading for Maxx Crosby, he confirmed that they did have some dialogue. Didn't offer much more, but that was interesting to hear. He could have dodged that question entirely, but doesn't seem like there's any urgency to revisit that. Seems like Max is probably staying with Vegas for now anyway.
Yeah, I think you put it best last week. I'm not sure if it was in a video, if we were on live or whatever, that you commended the Bears in terms of setting a price point in terms of, okay, Maxx Crosby's available. This is how much we'd be willing to pay. We're not going above it. We're not extending. We're not overextending. We're not paying as much as the Ravens did and ultimately decided not to pay. I think that Poles, to your point, acknowledging that he did have some dialogue in terms of interest with Maxx Crosby. There's a lot of smoke there that was confirmed, and the Bears were looking to try to improve the edge position. And now, after the signing of Trey Hendrickson to Baltimore with Maxx Crosby returning to the Raiders and more than likely confirming that he's playing for 2026 in Las Vegas, where do the Bears turn to from here? There's still some free agents out there, some veterans that they could potentially look to bring in to pair alongside a Montez Sweat. There's even a trade target that we'll get into here in a moment that the Bears maybe could look to try to reach out, or the draft. It's going to be very interesting to see now where the pivot point comes after not being able to land Maxx Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, they were never in on Hendrickson, but I think they would have done the Max trade if the price was right, and if they obviously passed him medically. Also, he was asked about that whole situation. He said he didn't really offer much comment because obviously he wasn't there, but did just kind of – I think he defended DaCosta a bit and just basically said, look, this job is very difficult. And Ryan Poles, the first free agent he signed in the tampering period when he took the job was Larry Ogunjobi, and he had to pull the rug on that contract because – he failed his physical, and they brought him into the building. So, I don't think that's the same thing because the Ravens were going to give away 2 first-round picks, and then they quickly pivoted to Trey Hendrickson. But, I think he's probably kind of understanding, without knowing everything that happened there, I'm not going to bury Baltimore publicly or anything like that. I know people were interested, and I definitely was as well, about what his comments would be on the Ian Cunningham situation, not getting those comp picks. You could tell he was frustrated by it, and he basically was like, I'm not going to get into it now, but at the owners' meetings in a month, we can talk about it then. So we'll see if he says anything interesting then. But I got to think the Bears are probably pretty pissed that they didn't get those 2 picks. So, maybe he's saying that because – maybe there's still going to be some dialogue with the Bears in the league. I don't know, but I'm not expecting Chicago to get any draft compensation in the next 2 drafts or in the future at this point in time. So, we'll have to see how that all ends up playing out. All right, should the Bears, almost said Browns, should the Bears trade for Josh Sweat? His name has popped up today as a potential trade candidate. Cardinals edge rusher, formerly with Philadelphia, had a career-high 12 sacks last year. What do you guys think? Type T for trade or P for pass. You can also go vote in the live poll. I'd be interested, Cullen, depending on the price. We're going to do a full video on this, kind of exploring the player, exploring the latest reporting there, and, a couple of trade ideas that I've cooked up. So it'd be interesting. Last offseason he was available. They could have signed him. They signed Dayo Odeyingbo instead through 1 year. They chose the wrong player on that one. I don't know if they ever looked at Sweat, but that much is clear. But it seems like he could potentially be available for an Arizona Cardinals team who, let's face it, is not exactly trying to win next year. I mean, they're rolling with Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew as of now for their quarterback situation. So maybe a guy like Josh Sweat is someone they'd be willing to trade.
So just pulling up Josh Sweat's NFL Combine profile. Again, his weight's probably changed at this point in terms of maybe it's fluctuated a little bit. But
what's he listed
6'5",
on there?
34 and 5/8 inch arms.
Check.
251 pounds. So fits the Dennis Allen prototype. Over 10-inch hands as well. So
yeah, he 251 might be a tick on the lightest side, but he's listed. His Cardinals listing is 6'5", 265, so he's probably filled out a little bit throughout his career. Yeah, I mean, he checks a lot of the boxes. Now, something we'll get into is he plays a lot more pass rushing snaps than run stopping snaps. So, do teams try to hide him against the run? His run defensive grades are okay, but it's on a smaller sample size. So he's definitely more of a pass rusher than a run defender, but I'd be interested. I mean, he can get after the quarterback. He was dominant in the Super Bowl a couple years ago against the Chiefs. That's what helped get him paid by Arizona, and his contract's also fairly reasonable. We'll get to that part of it too. So, I think he's a pretty good player. I don't know how much it would cost. Is it a second? Is it a third-round pick? Certainly, I'm not giving up a first for Josh Sweat. Would be open to giving up one of my 2 seconds. If you get him for a third, I'd be really interested. So, see what that looks like potentially here. We'll get into a full segment on it. Isaac Glass with the super chat. Rich Eisen stated on our show over the weekend that the Bears did in fact offer 2 firsts, but couldn't beat the 14th overall pick the Ravens had. Yeah, we've discussed this a little on the show. He did say that, and again, I'm not saying he wasn't told that, but no one else has reported that. I've heard behind the scenes that isn't true. Also, other people close to the situation haven't necessarily refuted that, but they have reported different things on what a potential offer looked like. I don't think the Bears offered 2 ones. He's the only one who has said that. Now, I can't rule it out, but nothing I've heard, nothing anyone else has reported suggests they've offered 2 ones. So I don't think that's the case. If that were true and if that offer was still on the table, I think the Raiders would have probably just traded him to Chicago by now. But I don't believe that to be true. Again, could be wrong, but I don't think they offered 2 ones. Maybe they offered something that added up to 2 ones. Maybe they offered a first, a second, and like DJ Moore or something like that before DJ Moore was shipped off to Buffalo. But I don't think they offered 2 first-round picks.
I think it's more likely that Crosby may have been interested in playing with Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, and that Ryan Poles had his kind of firm price that he was not going to budge from in terms of, hey, this is what I'm going to offer, take it or leave it. And, the Raiders ultimately said no versus, okay, the Bears were willing to give up 2 first-round picks, and the Raiders, who, again, love and adore Maxx Crosby's been, the ultimate Raider, franchise player, all this other stuff. If it was really down to, and again, just my own personal opinion, I just voicing this out. If the Ravens offered 2 first-round picks and the Bears also offered 2 first-round picks, again, one of them being 25, one of them being 14, something would have told me that Spytech maybe would have, if Crosby would have, wanted to play in Chicago as badly as at least we kind of think he would have, that the Raiders would have done the service to Max of being like, okay, we're still getting 2 firsts, let's send him to Chicago. And
maybe.
So I just don't think it's...
They still might have taken the better offer, but I do think there would have been more... I think, here's the reason I don't believe that report from Eisen. Because we got pretty concrete reporting on what Dallas offered. It was reported that they offered a first and a second. Pelissero had that, and others had that. So, yeah, I don't think they offered 2-1s. Maybe you're right. Maybe they would have done Crosby a solid if the Chicago's where he truly wanted to go.
I'm not saying that is the case, by the way. I'm just saying that if that were the case, like that felt like it would have been more in the reporting of, okay, the Bears would have been listed as one of those teams that were firmly like a finalist or contender, similar, like you said, the Cowboys were, if that were the case. I'm saying it's more likely that Poles had his price and that, you know, they were not doing that. I'm not trying to say that the Bears offered 2 firsts. I'm saying if they would have offered 2 firsts, we would have heard something like maybe the Bears, would have been closer to one of the final teams in it, and also, I mean, would Spytek have potentially pulled the trigger in terms of sending him to Chicago? I don't know. But
yeah, maybe. Maybe we'll never know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Here is the direct quote, by the way, just so people – I just had it in Twitter reloaded. Hang on a second. Let me pull it up. The exact quote from Ryan Poles on the he also said that they got multiple offers on DJ Moore. So that's that. He said it was tough to trade him, DJ, yada, yada, yada. Here is the direct quote on the Maxx Crosby situation. After being asked if they were involved, he said, quote, "We're always going to monitor every situation. We checked into it and looked to see if it made sense, had some dialogue, but I'll just leave it at that." So there you go. Are they still checking in? Are they still having dialogue? I don't know. Maybe there was some level of a check-in after the trade fell apart, like, hey, where are you guys with this situation? But there hasn't been a ton of reporting since the trade fell apart, so I would guess it's kind of in a holding pattern / the Raiders are going to proceed forward with Max at this point in time. So we'll see if we hear anything new. Alex, excited to see how we attack the draft. I think 6 weeks from today it all starts, so it'll be here quick. ATG, what's happening with Brisker? I don't think Ryan Poles was asked about Brisker. Let me see.
Good question.
I don't think he was. I don't know. We're like deep into day 4 of free agency, so he's probably going to have to take a cheaper deal. Now, is that going to be with Chicago? Does he wait until after the draft potentially to see what the safety outlook looks like across the league? So I'm sure he's disappointed that he hasn't been signed yet. I mean, that would be my guess. So I don't know. I don't know where his situation sits. Obviously, Kevin Byard landed yesterday. CJ Gardner-Johnson still hasn't signed. So hard to say. Hard to say. Could one of those guys return to the Bears? Maybe. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. We'll get back to some other super chats. Do want to remind you guys that we do have a lot of merch available at chatsports.com/Bears shop. We'll get that link in the live chat for you guys. T-shirts, hoodies. We have just one hat line right now, the Beers hat, but all kinds of T-shirts and hoodies, the channel ones, the Iceman gear in navy and white. Go check it out. The entire merch line available at chatsports.com/Bears shop. That link is in the live chat. Click and shop today. Get yourself some Bears Now merchandise as Cullen kind of scrolls through the different items here. If we've ever sold it, it is available at that link below, chatsports.com/Bears shop. Just a little teaser of what we got going on today, by the way. So we're going to talk a little Josh Sweat trade. We'll take your questions, and then we will, if we have time, we might save it for tomorrow. But the plan is to unveil my latest mock draft as well. So stay tuned. Chad, lesser trade option for vet or draft trade up. We're going to talk about Josh Sweat, who's a lesser option than Maxx Crosby, but I still think a good option. Other names, I mean, like a Kayvon Thibodeau. Could you still go get him? I don't think I'd offer a day 2 pick for him. I'd probably offer my 4th. Maybe I'd give him my 3rd if I could get like a late pick back, get like a 6th back or something like that. So, I don't know if the Jags would trade Trayvon Walker, but he's entering the final year of his rookie contract. That's another name that could be out there. So, unclear at this time. Unclear. Pro Day's starting to ramp up, so I think a lot of the focus now shifts shifts to the draft as we get to the kind of selective moments of NFL free agency here.
Yeah, I mean, and we can kind of, excuse me, the Bears right now at this current moment have, obviously pick 25. They have 2 picks in the second round and then a third-round pick as well. Out of those 4 picks, your gut, I'll just ask you before we get to these next Super Chats, if you had to pick the 4 most likely positions they target with those top 4 draft picks, again, just seeing what they've done so far through free agency, obviously they can make other signings that could change things. If you had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe them when they say they're a BPA team. I think we saw that play out for the most part last year. But I think it's edge and defensive tackle, safety, and center would probably be the top 4, with sleeper positions being receiver, maybe running back if the right guy fell
Corner,
on
maybe.
day 2. Yeah, corner as well. Corner should be in that group. So if I had a top 5 in no particular order, both defensive line spots, safety, corner, and center, I think are probably the top 5 position groups that they would target hard in the draft. But they could take a receiver. I still think they could take an offensive tackle if the right one is there when they pick. Certainly could take a linebacker still. I wouldn't rule that out. They've done a good job at linebacker to kind of, they don't have to force the issue there, but if the right one is available, they could take one. So, they probably need to add a tight end 3 at some point. Maybe you can accomplish that with some kind of vet minimum guy in free agency after Durham Smythe signed with the Ravens. But, yeah, I think those would be the positions I'd be looking at the hardest. Okay, who do we got here?
Bear Down for Life says, who would you rather have?
Excuse me. Been a long week, boys.
Bosa or Clowney? Which one? If you had to pick.
They're pretty similar. They're both just solid. Both are decent against the run. Both are solid pass rushers. I'd honestly probably just take whoever's cheaper. I think they're in the same tier at this point. Good starters, excellent rotation players, which I think would be ideal. You'd have Sweat, and then this player kind of with Booker is kind of your 2-3 guy, then maybe you draft a guy as well.
I just can't get over Bosa getting rocked on his ass by Jacoby Myers in that playoff game.
That was rough.
That was a rough play. Now, again, he's obviously had a really good NFL career and all this other stuff, but give me Clowney. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I think they'd both be good options on 1-year deals. So
yeah, definitely not.
By the way, potential Bears adjacent news: Caleb Banks suffered a broken foot at the combine. So
yep, per Dane Brugler.
And he's going to be out until June. Now, if he recovers, he'll be ready for training camp. But it's just like he's had multiple foot injuries now. That's a red flag. Big guys with foot injuries, that scares me. You see it in the NBA all the time. These heavier guys that get feet problems, it rarely goes away. So that's not – it's a shame because apparently he suffered the injury the night before the workout. He thought he could still work out and didn't think it was such a severe injury. And he still tested awesome with a broken bone in his foot, but it's just like he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
think he firmly drops into that kind of day 2 bucket.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some team takes a chance late day 1, but I think he's probably a second, third round pick now, second rounder maybe.
Not at 25.
I don't think you can take the risk. Yeah, I don't know if he'd be completely off my board without having access to the medical, but I have enough information. He's out of the first round for me. Maybe if you trade back into round 2 and get him, but if he falls to 57 or 60, I'd be tempted at that point, but I think it's 2. I think the only 2 defensive tackles I would take it at 25 now, consider taking, are Peter Woods, who has not had the most inspiring pre-draft process. His testing has just been okay. He's also been a little banged up. And Caden McDonald. I think Lee Hunters and Kristen Miller are probably second rounders, and I think Banks with the medicals falls at around 1-2. So, you kind of wonder, do you start shifting more toward edge potentially in the first round, depending on who's available? And
It's a real shame, too, because we talked about all 5 of those guys. Every single one of them had a chance to separate, and none of them did. In terms of, like, could be, like, a clear cut, like, you would prefer. Now, again, would they have fallen
McDonald's probably just the safest one at this point because he's excellent against the run. He's young.
Yeah.
I still like Peter Wood's tape, but his pre-draft hasn't been great. He didn't have his best year this year either, so just hard to say. Hard to say. Be interesting to see. I do wonder now, like, does a guy like Caden McDonald go, like, top 20 just because it's like you're young, you're great against the run, it's a safe pick. Like, he might have just risen up draft boards. Because I think with the way Banks tested before we knew there was a foot issue, is like, okay, he's been a little banged up, he's a little older, but genetically and athletically, he's probably got the highest upside. Well, he's got a broken foot, so I don't know what happens there. I think Woods or McDonald is the first one taken now.
I wouldn't rule out, again, either edge or maybe safety.
Oh, they could. If Deanneman or McNeil Warren's there, they could definitely go in that direction. Definitely go in that direction. Tate Rapp can see it now. Dominant line led by the Sweats. If they do get Josh Sweat, I think we're going to have to come up with a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Feel the sweat.
We'd have to have every show sponsored by Mando.
Feel the, and then sweat.
Yeah.
And it's both sweats right here.
Yeah.
That could be something. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Tate Rapp.
Or it could be something like, instead of like blood, sweat, and tears, blood, sweats, and tears. I don't know. It's something.
Bloods. Yeah.
Blood, sweats, and tears. I don't know. Like.
I like that.
Something.
Blood, sweats, and beers.
Blood, sweats.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
Blood,
Beers.
sweats, and beers.
Blood, sweats, and beers.
It's the sweat.
Don't sweat it.
Don't sweat it. Drop your favorite sweat T-shirt or ideas in the chat. Blood, sweats, and sacks. That's a good one.
Yeah. Blood, sweats, and beers is low-key kind of a banger. I won't say. Get ready to be sweaty. Feel the sweat.
The sweaties.
The sweaties. Motivated sweats.
Motivated sweats in Dayo.
Yes.
Meat sweats.
Meat sweats. Low-key.
Don't sweat it. Sweat attack. Sweat sandwich.
Sweat brothers.
Sweat brothers. You could just go like sweat bros.
Yeah.
Something like that. We'll think of something. I think if they
Blood,
did
sweat,
get...
and bears, too. That's one we haven't...
Yeah. Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
That's funny. Super sweat bros.
Super sweat bros. That's actually...
Sweatness instead of sweetness.
Ooh.
It's interesting.
Sweatness.
It's a lot to live up to.
And then they're just... It's like they're silhouettes or something like right there.
Yeah. All right.
We got some ideas.
I don't even know if they're interested in Josh Sweat, but I hope they are. You heard the man. Hit the like button.
Matter of fact, let's get these like numbers up. Hit that like button.
You heard the like button.
You heard the like button?
You heard the man. You heard the like button. You heard me.
It is day 4 of NFL free agency.
Dude, I've been dragging today. I wanted to get live a little earlier. Then we had to reset our software. It's just been a mess. But
it's been a mess.
We're rallying here. We're rallying the troops. Damper, would you trade 25 and 60 to the Jets for 33 and 44? Take Miller at 33 and any edge at 44. Then we'd still have 57 for center and safety. I wouldn't mind that. I think you're probably coming out ahead overall. And the 33rd pick's really valuable because you hold the first pick of the next day of the draft for like 20 hours. So, like, you know, you can, like, watch more film on it. Because when you're on the clock, you got like 7 minutes to make a decision.
You know what honestly could be a good – well, for one, Damper, this is a good idea. I think trading down, honestly, is a strategy Poles should be considering at 25 just because – again,
unless there's a player you love, you
Yes.
should be looking to trade down.
I would agree. But one thing that could be a future video idea is top Bears draft targets maybe post free agency that we could do.
Yeah. Probably do that.
Who is y'all's? Just let us know down below because we're doing a little draft talk right now. Let us know your number one realistic Bears draft target down below in the chat. If you just somewhat realistic, like obviously you're not getting like Ruben Bain at 25. Somebody realistically that could be in position for the Bears. Who's your favorite one?
Let me know.
Thieneman, Peter Woods, McDonald, Cassius Howell, Jacob Rodriguez, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Derek Moore in the second, A.J. Halsey, McNeil-Warren, Derek Moore, David Bailey. David Bailey's not making it to the Bears. Come on now. Thieneman, McDonald, a lot of different names. Harry's got to be the one that's got to say, hey, this is my guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, like
Mesidor.
Barring a surprise, some like shocker from one of the premium players, if one of the safeties is there, that's very tempting. If not, I don't know if I love any of these D-tacks enough to just be like, that's my guy no matter what. Now, I'd be cool with Peter Woods or McDonald at 25. I would have been cool with Banks, but I always said if the medical checked out, which not only did it not check out, he re-injured himself. So... yeah, I would say one of the safeties, edge or trade down is kind of where I'm leaning right now.
Cold Sweats, the Iceman cometh.
The Iceman cometh.
So the Cold Sweats maybe.
Cold Sweats. I don't mind that.
Dante Corleone not in the first. It's fair.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, if all these defensive tackles have some question marks, are you just better off just waiting for that, like, group in the second round? Like, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Like, I do think, like, a big-time interior disruptor would help this team, but I don't know if there's, like, a guy that I just feel so strongly about to take one in the first round. I don't know.
I'll let you read that message. But yeah, it's certainly a conversation in terms of, if the Bears are set in terms of, who they value, BPA certainly is an option as, they took Olsen Loveland obviously last year. If somebody they don't love, if they don't love anybody at 25, trade downs is definitely a possibility. No doubt about it.
Yeah, if anything, it's actually... Honestly, you know what Bears fans should be rooting for? Ty Simpson to still have not been drafted when they're picking at 25. Is some team desperate enough to get back into the first round, get that fifth-year option for Simpson, trade out for a team who wants a quarterback, which could be the Jets. Maybe they'd come up from 33 and come get Simpson.
Right. Could be an option. Going to TJ here. He says, no one in the NFC North looks better than the Bears. Assuming through free agency, obviously, at this point.
I think the Bears and the Lions are the top two teams. Packers third. Vikings fourth, and they're a wild card with the Kyler situation.
One of those top teams in the NFC North is offense is led by Ben Johnson, and one is led by Drew Petzing.
Ben Johnson, good buddies with Drew Petzing, believe it or not. I do think he's better than whatever the fuck his name was. John Morton.
Yeah.
Better than John Morton, but yeah. Okay, who we got next? Jose. Who is a player you could see traded in season? Should I say it? I still think Maxx Crosby. If the Raiders start off shitty again, this is a guy who already wanted out. I could see them trading him if he's balling out. Like, if he balls out, shows he's healthy, I could see his value getting back up to what they wanted. Now, maybe they tweak his contract and make it where he's clearly staying there, but I don't know. I could still see it. But there's always guys, good players on bad teams. Good players on bad teams.
Who's a player you could see get traded in season? Let me just kind of
Jeffrey Simmons if the Titans suck.
maybe. Yeah, that's a good one.
Dexter Lawrence if the Giants suck.
It's another one.
Kayvon Thibodeau if they hang on to him.
Kayvon Thibodeau. Those are the guys that have been previously.
Josh Sweat if the Cardinals don't trade him before the
Sure.
year. Like, they could just trade him at the deadline.
All interesting options. I'm just kind of like, again, just scrolling down. Would Jalen Waddle interest kind of peak up if the Dolphins, again, are just a dumpster fire and he's kind of sitting there like
Certainly, yeah.
Jalen Waddle potentially?
Yeah, especially if it's not going well with Malik Willis.
DC Viper, Justin Jefferson. If it's bad with Kyler, like it is just like the worst possible case scenario.
I just don't think that's an in-season trade.
Okay. Maybe not.
I don't think that's an in-season trade.
If the
Scary Williams is Jalen Johnson for the Bears. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. That probably means the Bears season isn't going well. We'll see.
We shall see. Casey, as more time passes, it seems the play all along has been to get return on investment from Dayo. I do like the idea of Sweat squared. Interesting. But I'm not sure they have ever had a plan for an edge, draft, and rotate.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were interested in Crosby if the price was right. Polls acknowledged they had conversations. So, but yeah, I don't think they love this free agent crop. I don't think they felt Trey Hendrickson at his price point and age and made sense. And by the way, he's coming off core muscle surgery, which makes the whole failed physical thing funny. It's like, well, he's been hurt too. He had a major surgery. So you've got that. They clearly were not going to pay Jalen Phillips, who was once medically retired, $30 million per year. That's ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the Dayo thing goes, unless they were able to dump him in a trade, I don't think they're operating as if, like, hey, he's going to be a starter and we're going to get big-time production. But, like, if he's going to be here, like, obviously they want to get something out of him. Like, he's going to be on the 53. Unless they somehow trade him. They're not going to cut him because you only save a couple $1 million. You might as well keep him and hope that he can at least be a rotation piece. So it is what it is with Dayo. He'll be off this team next year unless he surprises us and has a huge year. Motivated Dayo will be back next year. Regular Dayo will not. Alex Amerling, not touching Banks now. Yeah, I think it's too risky. They need, most players, if they fall far enough in a draft, you get to a point where you'd consider just about anything. But you need to hit on some picks on defense. So, like, there's no way I'm drafting a guy, especially in the first round, who's had multiple foot surgeries now and won't be healthy until at least June. And that feels probably fast. So, he's borderline off my board at this point. Dennis. Sweaty sacks. That's actually pretty. You only did it singular, but sweaty sacks is actually pretty funny.
I mean, either way it is, but yeah, I mean that would be bold.
Sweaty sacks. Would you buy a sweaty sack shirt of Josh Sweat and Montez Sweat if they got Josh Sweat?
Sweat squared.
Sweaty sacks. Oh, goodness. Don't sweat the technique. I just think that's too long.
Yeah.
I got T-shirts. You're talking about probably 3 words at most.
A limited aereo space.
I like whoever said cold sweats. I don't mind that either. How's Odunze's foot? I assume it's healing. Hopefully that's the case. Give me a ballpark on Super Chats.
Oh, we got a couple more.
Okay. Eric sent a message on IG about Ty Simpson trade. Yeah, I got a lot of DMs I got to catch up on, guys. I'll try to do that over the weekend. Free agency's always hectic, so, I'll get back to it. Mike Nunn, I think a lot of people forget we have a 6'3 corner who's healthy this year. That could be a solid addition to our defense. One can hope anyway. I assume you're talking about Zay Frazier. Dude, if he's a hit, that's great. But, like, I think the Bears have to operate as if, hey, he's a luxury. He may not even make the team. I think Brian Poles said as much at the end of the season presser. He said, yeah, he's healthy and he's ready and he'll be in the offseason program, but he'll have to earn a roster spot. Like, I don't think they're acting as if he's a for sure piece. Now, athletically, and he's gifted, and he's certainly capable. He's a 6'3", 6'4 corner who can run, but we just don't know right now. Be interesting to see him get out there at OTAs. Robert, draft crush is Zachariah Branch at 60 or 89. Love it at 89. 60,
yeah.
You know, it's probably on the front end, earlier side of his range. Not sure he stays on the board that late, though. You think that's realistic or too luxury? If he's there at 89, I'd be okay with it. And depending on what happens between now and the draft, I wouldn't completely hate it at 60. You know, I think getting a guy like Khalif Raymond, you know, you don't have to force the issue with a speedy receiver/returner type. Like, you've got a guy who can do that job this year.
He's got a lot of overlap with Luther Burden as well, too.
Yeah.
And not that
he's not as physical. And
not
he's
as
not
physical.
as big.
No, but he's very, like, really good after run after the catch.
Joystick guy.
Dynamic. I think he's an underrated route runner. You probably would. It would be a little bit of a luxury. That being said, that if he's high on your board, like, I think he's the top 75 player in this draft. So if you're able to get him at 89,
yeah,
I think it'd be good value.
I mean, if you got a guy like that at 89 and your receiver room goes Rome, Luther, Branch, Walker, and Raymond is your top 5 in whatever order, that's pretty good.
Right.
That's a pretty good top 5. And if you keep 6, you know, some free agent, UDFA, maybe J.P. Richardson or Maurice Alexander fights for that. So, yeah, I think drafting receivers very much on the board. I think that could happen. TJ says the Raiders might not be horrible this year. He might want to stay if they are competitive. If they draft well, the Raiders might be well improved. I'm at the point with the Raiders is they have to prove to me that they can be competitive. I thought last year, I was a sucker. I thought, you know what? Pete Carroll's competent. He at least knows what he's doing. Geno is a much better quarterback than they've had. And it's the worst team they've had, like, ever. And they've had some awful teams for my entire life. So I'm at the point with the Raiders that they got to show me something. I think that's why Max was like, I'm out. Because it's like, even when, like, it seems like we should be good, we're horrible. So, you know, I'm not going to be placing a future on them to make the playoffs. I'll tell you that. They should be better, Colin. They've added some real players. Seems like Clint Kubiak's a good hire. Seems like John Spytek's a decent executive, but, like,
just that division's tough, man.
Tough-ass division. And, yeah, they've added some good players, but, like, they also had, like, very few good players before this offseason. Like, the only, like, notable players they had were, like, Brock Bowers.
Right.
Ashton Genty, who, like, I don't even know how good he's going to be. I like him. I loved him coming out, but, like,
was better second half of the year than he was.
Yeah, and I still think he's good, but, like, I think it's unclear how good he'll be. Colton Miller's a good left tackle, but he's been hurt a lot. Maxx Crosby, and, like, that's it. Like, who's good after it? Like, they have like, Michael Mayer's a decent tight end too. Like, and yeah,
they traded away Jacoby Myers midseason.
Got rid of Jacoby Myers. I mean, We'll see if, like, Jack Besh or Dante Thornton turns into anything. But, I mean, they had, like, 4 real players and then a bunch of question marks. So, yeah, sure, you add Tyler Linderbaum, you add some of these guys, but, like, I still think you're, like, multiple years away of development in draft classes before you're competing at a high level. Now, if Mendoza's a hit right away, that can change things.
And they can flirt with,
but they've also said they don't even want to play him right away, potentially.
I think it would be smart to kind of let him learn a little bit, you know, just try to not just throw him into the fire right away. I think it's smart. That being said, I think you nailed it on the head. The Raiders, there was a reason that they had the number 1 pick. Like, they've got multiple holes in this roster that they're not going to just...
Dude, they were getting blasted in games last year.
That they're not going to just address with one free agency and one draft period.
the year, Fluce's first year when they went 3-14 and got the number 1 pick, they were in a lot of games, if you guys remember. Like, they were scrappy. They played hard. They would just lose close games. The Raiders were getting demolished. I mean, they weren't even in these games. So I think they're all – and by the way, it took the Bears like 3 more years to be good. Now, part of that was just Fluce was a joke, but still. Okay, we got Mason, bring back Jack Sanborn for depth, decent linebacker. Are these questions like good mailbag questions? We could just do a mailbag right now off the bat.
Let's see.
Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. You guys want to just get into a formal mailbag here?
We can, yeah.
Let's just do it. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. We'll keep the Super Chats going since you guys are rolling. We can work in some hashtag
open with
Bears
Mason here. But yeah, use hashtag Bears or Super Chat.
Yeah, Mason, we'll open with your questions in the mailbag. So, Fluce lost 3 by himself. Exactly. But my point is they were in a lot of games. Like, Pete Carroll's Raiders were getting killed. They were getting killed. They were getting killed. All right, fire in those questions. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Last year's Raiders almost beat the Bears, Uncle Harry. Yeah, and if they played again 2 months later, the Bears would have won by 25. The Raiders' best football was in September. They beat the Patriots. They were very competitive with the Chargers. They almost beat the Bears. And then after that, they were like the worst team in the league by a country mile, except for maybe the Titans, who they barely beat. And the Bears improved greatly after the first month of the season. So, yeah, I mean, they beat the Patriots week 1. No one thinks they were better than the Patriots last year. All right, hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions in. Got a few Super Chats we'll work in, and we'll get some other questions in there as well. Looks like a decent amount.
We'll just got to get them loaded in.
Flying in. We'll let those load in, and then we'll get into this mailbag. Shout out to the chat.
I think that was the correct response there. Sorry, in the Slack conversation that we're in.
Oh, I don't even know what's going on.
I just saw that. Calvin Austin signing with the New York Giants.
Oh, I was actually kind of interested in him before they signed Raymond.
Yeah.
I don't mind that signing, though. 1 year, 4.5.
The greatest.
The greatest sound.
All
right, we got some of these loading in. I see a lot in the chat.
Yeah, they're loading. They're just
Should have some supers you can start with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll be good. We'll be good. We could start off with a little mailbag ski.
Little mailbag, and then we have a couple segments ready to go that we can film depending on the flow. We'll knock out at least the Josh Sweat segment and go from there. Someone says, how do you super chat? There should be like a little money sign next to the live chat option on your phone if you're watching on mobile. And you click that and follow the steps from there. So that's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Okay, let's get into it. Little free agency mailbag here. I'm Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears Now. A little mailbag late in the first week of NFL free agency. Mason with the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, Mason. He says, bring back Jack Sanborn for depth. Decent linebacker. Yeah, I mean, instinctive guy. I think the problem is he just doesn't check the boxes of what they're looking for, which is high athletic profile, speed. Ryan Poles talked about it again on Thursday. They feel like they've accomplished some of the things they've been trying to do this offseason, which is adding speed on defense with guys like Devin Bush, bringing back DeMarco Jackson. You bring in Kobe Bryant. Sanborn's a very instinctive player. He's just not athletic or fast. Now, look, if he's your LB4, LB5, I got no problem with that. I just don't think the Bears are the team that brings him back. Remember, they let him go last year for no money. He signed with Dallas, and by the way, he did not play well at all. So I don't think the Bears ever bring him back. All right, Anthony, is Chase Young available? I don't think so. I think the Saints are trying to win. I mean, that division's very gettable. They made some moves in free agency. They paid Travis Etienne a lot of money. Chase Young has been able to stay healthy and has played well with New Orleans, so I don't think so. Now, could he be a guy at the trade deadline if they're having a bad year? Maybe. But in that division, with how he's been playing and how aggressive they've been and what they believe Tyler Shutt could be, I think they're going for it. So, no, I'd be shocked if he was available. If he was, I'd be interested because he's been able to stay healthy. Who should the Bears sign next in NFL free agency? Who would you like to see Chicago sign next in free agency? Let me know. All right, Kyle, who is the best-case scenario for the draft, in your opinion, for our first pick? Best-case scenario would be trading down and still getting one of the safeties, I think. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren or Dylan Thieneman. Now, I don't think you could trade down and get Thieneman. I think there's a chance he's there at 25, but if you trade down, you're probably not going to get him. But you might be able to trade down and get McNeil-Warren, add a pick in the process, and then load up on a couple of defensive linemen on day 2. So I think that's probably like the most ideal scenario. Pair someone with Kobe Bryant and then attack the trenches in your pass rush. I just don't know if there's like some dream edge that's going to be there at 25. I like Akheem Mesidor, but I don't know if I'd consider that a dream considering his age. I'd be happy with the pick, but David Bailey's not falling that far. Arvell Reese certainly isn't. So I think it just is what it is. Reuben Bain isn't either. But, I think that's kind of the scenario. DC Viper, how high are you on A.J. Halsey? Could it be the pick at 25? I don't think so. I think there's a drop-off after Thieneman and McNeil-Warren. I don't know if he'll get to 57, though. He could be a top 50 guy. Maybe he's a trade down into day 2 option, trade down into like the late 30s, early 40s, take him there if he's still there. So, he could be one of those guys that 25's too early, 57's too late, and you're just not in the right pocket to land him. So we'll see. I like him a lot. I think he'd be a good fit next to Bryant. All right, William Bomer, Derek Moore, or deny Dennis Sutton. I would lean Dennis Sutton, but I like both guys. Derek Moore is probably someone who projects to set the edge a little better in the run game, but I think Dennis Sutton could give you more as a pass rusher, but probably similar tiers. I like Dennis Sutton a little more, though. That's just a personal preference of mine. Okay, guys, check out the merch. Any shirt, hat, hoodie we've ever sold or ever made available, it all is available at that link below, chatsports.com/Bears shop. You can get the Bears Now t-shirts. You can get some of the hoodies we have, like the Iceman and FGB ones. T-shirts. Some of the models have different colors available, just like the Iceman does. Check it out. Right now, the Bears hats and t-shirts are for sale, or not for sale, but are available for purchase in our store. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. Click and shop today. St. Patrick's gear is still available, even if you're not getting it for this year. You can have it for future years. All of our gear right there, and we'll be adding more in the future. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. We'll continue with our mailbag here. We got Max. What could be a good trade for starting caliber defensive lineman without giving away a round 1 or 2 pick? Probably like a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau. He's not a great player, but he's solid. He's improved a lot as a run defender. He's kind of a streaky pass rusher. It kind of comes and goes. He does remind me of Montez Sweat in a bit. I don't think he's quite as good, but similar type of player, I would say. He's not someone you want to be your top defensive lineman, but solid starter, excellent if he's a rotation player. But I think you could potentially get him with your 4th-round pick. I'm not sure I'd give away my 3rd for him. If I did give away a 3rd, I think I'd want like a 5th or 6th back to get Thibodeau. But don't know what the Giants value him at this point in time. All right, tragic. Sounds like Ryan Poles likes Kobe Bryant better than Byard. I think so. He signed Kobe Bryant over Kevin Byard. Now, I don't know what Byard was commanding when he signed him, but look, he's 6 years younger, extremely versatile. He's a classic modern defensive back for what a lot of these defensive coordinators want. Guys who could do a lot of different things. He can roam, he can play man, he can mix it up in the run game. He's only played the position for 2 years, and he's already very good at it. He creates takeaways, which Byard does as well, but I just think his arrow is pointing up, whereas Kevin Byard is still a good player, but 7 interceptions at the age of 32, like, chances of him replicating that are pretty slim moving forward. So, yeah, I think he went with the younger ascending Kobe Bryant for all of those reasons. Eric Green, favorite late-round wide receiver the Bears should target in the draft. Feels like the Bears will target safety or corner in the first round. Corner in round 1 would be interesting. That's another, to go back to that question earlier, could like a Mansour Delane or Jermod McCoy slip to 25? I'd be shocked, but that would be a dream scenario. Take one of those guys. As far as late-round receiver, I mean, define late round. Just day 3? I mean, you know, the kid out of Cincinnati is pretty interesting, the size-speed combo. Blanking on his name right now, but he's a fun player, had a really good combine. I mean, Brennan Thompson, he's probably more like the middle rounds out of Mississippi State. I think it's Caldwell or something. Jack Caldwell? Jeff Caldwell out of Cincinnati. I like my guy out of TCU, Eric McAllister. Eric Rivers out of Georgia Tech. Or is he the Mizzou guy? Georgia Tech. There's a lot of receivers in this draft, so I would not be stunned if they grabbed one, even in the middle rounds, but certainly in the later rounds. All right, subscribe to the channel. We got off-season coverage every single day. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. That way you never miss a video. We would greatly, greatly appreciate your support as we continue to grow and push out content on the daily basis. All right, what would we have to give up for Josh Sweat? Well, if you're watching live on Thursday as we film this mailbag, I explore a couple ideas. My guess is Arizona would want a 2. I would offer a 3 and then maybe get up to a 2 if Arizona's willing to give a pick back. So we'll see what that looks like. But he's solid. Now, he doesn't play a ton of run defensive snaps, so he's not like a first, second, and third down player consistently. You know, he plays way more pass rush snaps than run stopping. But you've got Austin Booker too, so I mean, if you can kind of keep that rotation fresh with Montez Sweat, those 2 guys, and then potentially a draft pick, Dayo and or Shamar Turner coming back, so you would have some depth there to rotate. I just don't know quite what the value would be. Harley Bantz, who will be the left tackle? I mean, the betting favorite, I would say, is probably Braxton Jones, but Jedrick Wills was brought in to get in the mix. He's dealt with some injury stuff the last few years, so we'll see if he can stay healthy here. Is Theo Benedict a factor there, or do they kind of just view him as a multifaceted backup who can do some different things? So, you know, you would think Jones and Wills would be the primary competition right now. Hopefully Trapillo can come back late in the season, but that's unclear at this point. Name a player that the Bears should trade for at some point, whether it's now or before the draft or, you know, in training camp. Who's someone you would like to see the Bears go out and trade for to add to this 2026 football team? All right, WVY. Wonder why Poles tries the cheapest players on D-line when obviously that was our biggest struggle. Last play of the Green Bay wildcard game, Love had all the time in the world. Well, they dropped 8 into coverage. They were defending the end zone. That was a different situation. But, yeah, I mean, they spent on Grady Jarrett and Dayo Odeyingbo last year. I don't think that was cheap. Again, did you want to give $120 million to Jalen Phillips, the guy who was medically retired at some point? The money being thrown out at defensive linemen this offseason has been kind of crazy. So, look, the best way to build sustainability and remain cost-effective is to draft and hit in the draft. That's the bigger criticism. They have not hit on defensive linemen in the draft. Gervon Dexter, I would call a single. They took him in the second round, and he's been fine. I would say it's 50-50 at best. He'll get a second contract here. Zach Pickens, total whiff. Dominique Robinson, For the 4th round, okay, but didn't get much out of him the first 3 years. This past year, he was solid-ish, but he's out of the building. I would say at best that was a single. Trying to even think about it. Shamar Turner, complete unknown. He's played like 6 games and tore his ACL. You got to hit on the defensive line in the draft. He's hit on a lot of other positions, but he is not hit on defensive line in the draft. That's got to start to change. It's Chicago. Yeah, says, who is Caleb's number 1 target in 2026? I think the guy he's going to trust the most, maybe that's a different answer than number 1 target, which you would probably just say gets the most targets. But I think the guy he's going to trust the most is Colson Loveland. I think it's going to be Loveland, but I think there's going to be a healthy kind of mix with Loveland, Burden, Rome, and then, that next tier of guys, Cole Kmet, whoever the number 3 receiver is, Swift and Monungai out of the backfield. But I think Loveland's the guy he trusts the most right now. Early last season, it seemed like him and Rome were going to be like the next Peyton and Marvin Harrison or something. And then, that fell off a little bit with some misfires, some drops, Rome getting hurt. So hopefully they can get that back on track. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Training camp's going to be really competitive. I'm excited for it. All right, guys, good stuff. Nice little mailbag here. You know where else you can find me if you didn't get your questions answered. Twitter, Instagram, the TikTok, at HGramNFL. Give me a follow on those platforms. I'm also on Facebook, facebook.com/HGramNFL, or search Harrison Graham Chat Sports when you're in the Facebook app. You can find me and follow right there. I would greatly appreciate it. Bear down. All right, Jose, your Forverts channel, you do floor ceiling for each team. I don't mind that idea. It'd be a fun off-season video. I don't know if I'd do 32 different videos, but maybe do a division at a time. I always do a division preview. I could either incorporate it in that or maybe do an earlier video. I'll think about it.
I would be curious, though, because, again, obviously you do Forverts, you cover all NFL teams, college football to a certain level. I would be curious to know, because you clearly know the Bears, and that video I think would do really well. I'd be curious to see you just doing a full breakdown of just one team for a full video. Just pick one at random. And it's see how that would do on Forverts.
I could do that. I'm confident in my knowledge on all 32. Obviously, I have to do some more research on some than others, but
no, yeah, I wasn't. I was more or less just saying how it would.
It would do. I don't know. Maybe I'll just test it, pick a random team, see how it does, and if it flops, it flops. But we'll see. We will see.
We've got Casey, excited to see what we really have in Jackson. Him and Bush should be a problem in the short, mid-range passing defense.
Excited to see. Sorry, I was reading something. DeMarco Jackson, him and Bush. Yeah, I mean, they should be one of the faster linebacker pairings in the NFL when they're on the field at the same time. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. But, yeah, that's why I'm fascinated. A, is TJ Edwards for sure here? And B, even if he is he just an every down starter? Or is DeMarco Jackson going to play a lot, especially on passing down? So, I don't know. I think that's very much still up in the air. Obviously, part of the equation is Edwards, the rehab, coming back off the broken leg. So, wish him well in that. But, yeah, I mean, they want to play faster and be faster on defense. That's not really the name of TJ Edwards' game. So, it'll be interesting. Scooter, Eli, Heidenreich, also Aldi's Christian McCaffrey. I like that comp. Aldi's Christian McCaffrey, the kid out of Navy. Timu Christian McCaffrey.
There we go. Aldi's. That's a pull, though.
That is a pull. Ross.
Yeah, Ross.
Ross Christian McCaffrey. Fun player. The Bears were at the Navy Pro Day. They had someone there, a scout at least. So I guarantee you Ben's watched film on him to see if that's someone he could get creative with.
Yeah. I think that could be a potential day 3 option. Late round. Round. Yeah.
All right, who we got next?
We've got Bearweather.
If we have the same struggle with defense, will Poles be on the hot seat? if they're competitive, they're not going to fire the GM. So they just extended him last year, then they won the division in a playoff game. I would say he's got a lot of rope at this point. But yeah, I mean, I think they got to hit on some defensive pieces. I like the two primary free agent additions in Bryant and Devin Bush. I like DeMarco Jackson being back. We'll see who else they add. They need to hit on at least a couple of draft picks on that side of the ball. Jason G, motivated Dayo, about to have a Robert Quinn type season. Oh, yeah, he's going to have 18.5 sacks. Okay. I would take a third of that. I'd take 6. If you told me right now I could sign a piece of paper, Dayo Odeyingbo will have 6 sacks without any context of what it is, I would do it.
All 6 sacks in one game.
That means he probably won you that game. If you told me Dayo Odeyingbo was a primary reason you won a game next year, I think that's a win.
Dayo Odeyingbo has 6 sacks in the preseason.
Yeah, well, that would be the exception.
Fine print.
All right, Secret Bagent, Man's Burner, Motivated Dayo. How many smoking Jays? We grab Joey Bosa. I mean, 1. I've heard nothing on it, but I think adding that type of player, if the price is right,
Kyler Murray to the Vikings.
There it is. Kyler to Minnesota.
Murray will make,
It's the vet minimum.
Yeah. No, I was reading the no tag clause.
There it is.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant does have a history of picking off Kyler Murray. Just saying.
Multiple times he's picked him off.
Yeah.
At least twice, I think.
I think it's actually been more than that, but
that's why I said at least twice.
No, I was saying, I'm just confirming it's more than twice. Anyways, one of those did go for a big 6 too. So
let's go.
Bears fans got the right side of that one. I'm telling you that much for free. Some things never change.
I might quote tweet and be like,
you should.
Good thing the Kyler Murray. Good thing the Bears signed the Kyler Murray. What's the word I'm looking for?
Kyler Murray.
Killer, I guess. Multiple.
Definitely misspelled that.
All right. Kyler Murray to the Vikings.
It is official. Is kryptonite? Yeah, there you go. That actually could make sense.
I might do a quick short on this for 4 verts.
If you would like to hop off, just let me know.
I can just do it.
Okay.
Like this. Breaking NFL news, the Minnesota Vikings are signing Kyler Murray to a 1-year deal. It'll be a veteran minimum contract as Arizona is paying him $37 million this year. Murray joins the NFC North and Minnesota along with J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings might label this a competition. I think we all know it won't be. Kyler will be the starter. Fascinated to see if he works in a Kevin O'Connell system and if Kevin O'Connell can adjust around Murray's strengths and weaknesses this year. Big year for the Vikings, important year after a disastrous 2025 where they let Sam Darnold go and JJ was very up and down and kept getting injured. We'll see where it all goes. Subscribe and follow for more NFL content. All right.
Boss. Like a boss. Record while recording. I should have been hyping you up during that short.
Nah, we're good.
Harry.
All righty.
Father K, thank you for the $5 donation. DeAndre Jackson says, with majority of the big names now gone, who do you think we should legitimately go after next? Also, should we bring back CJ Gardner-Johnson for safety depth? Said bringing him in would do wonders last year. FGB. Look, Gardner-Johnson was somebody that the Bears needed in that kind of defensive secondary, provide them a lot of, I guess, stabilizing play at times, but there's also times where he wasn't the greatest in coverage. He'd be certainly welcome back. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. He just seems like he's going to be somebody that gets signed, maybe not even this week. He could drag out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the season went on, he struggled in man coverage. I still wonder at this point in his career if he's better off as more of a true safety than a nickel, but he does have versatility. Look, if you could get him for like $2-3 million, I'd be in. I just wonder if he's holding out for $5-6-7 million, and I just don't think the Bears are going to do that. So we'll see what happens. Also, I think the Bears might look at this as like he may not be a starter if we bring him back. Like if they draft a safety, he's probably not a starter. Now he would play some snaps and like dime packages and stuff like that, but let's just say they drafted Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Well, unless he's just awful in camp, you're going to go Kobe Bryant, McNeil-Warren at safety, Kyler Gordon at nickel, Jalen Johnson, and either Tyreek Stevenson or someone else at outside corner. CJ Gardner-Johnson's not playing outside corner. So, yeah, I think he might be a guy that has to wait out the draft even to see if he can find a surefire starting job somewhere. So, he's also got a reputation in the league. He seemed to fit in well with the Bears this year, but teams move on from him quickly. So it's hard to know how the Bears feel about him at this point in time. I would welcome him back if the price is right, but I also understand not like rushing to sign him. It's not like he's some unique talent that's irreplaceable.
Exactly. Check your Slack and thank me later. Bear down for life. Which player on last year of the current contract is under the most pressure this season? I think it's Tyreek Stevenson.
Is this the Kobe one? I saw the – you're talking about Kobe Bryant, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pick 6 off Murray.
I was just saying.
Kyler Murray's having nightmares.
If you wanted to kind of quote tweet a certain tweet with that, just it's there for you.
I'm going to tweet out Kyler Murray's first pass against the Bears next year. All right. Who do we got next?
No, well, it's answering this. So, which player on the last year of his current contract is under the most pressures? Tyreek Stevenson from Bear Down.
Yeah, I mean, that's if he even starts. I think he's up there. I mean, I think the quarterback's always under pressure. Gervon Dexter, he's playing for a contract, whether it's here or somewhere else. Whoever wins the left tackle job,
yeah.
Even if that person's not going to be here long term, it's an opportunity to play well and earn a contract somewhere else, whether it's Braxton Jones, Jedrick Wills, or someone else. Rome Odunze to kind of rebuild like his upward trajectory that he seemingly was on before the injury. So, yeah, I think players are always under pressure, but those are a few guys that come to mind. Maybe TJ Edwards, if he does start the season as a starter, like, hey, if you're not playing well early, they might have to bench you. So see what happens. NRG, bro, $10. Seeing as most of our defensive production came from backups or players that are no longer here, do you expect a dip in defensive efficiency, especially against the pass? No, I expect it to be better. Because if Jalen Johnson's healthy, he should be better than he was last year. If Kyler Gordon's healthy, that's great for this defense. Kobe Bryant should fit in and make plays. We'll see who the other safety is. But, I mean, how many snaps did Nick McLeod have to play last year? Like, they were deep in the depth chart at one point. I think against the Raiders, the two corners that were on the field, it was either the Raiders or the Bengals. I think it was Nick McLeod and Jalen Jones at one point.
Bengals.
It's just like they were just decimated in their secondary for a lot of last season. No tag clause for Kyler.
Yeah.
Does Seeps know that?
I believe so. He already had the VOD pre-film, so obviously that's something that
could always include on a future video or
if
he's alive. All right. TJ, the Vikings should trade Justin Jefferson for a haul. Well, they're clearly going for it. Like, if you bring in Kyler, you're not going to trade the number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Down the road, they could do that, but they're not doing that this year.
No, they are not.
Denzel Perriman to the Chargers.
Yes, back at 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We got TCB. What do we do about the tight end 3 position now that Durham Smythe is gone? Anybody available that you like in free agency that can block? So
let me see who's still out there.
One of Harry's potential targets that he had mentioned was Johnny Mundt, but he got signed by the Philadelphia Eagles.
He gone.
So
he gone.
Maybe a day 3 tight end?
Potentially. I'm trying to look at some lesser names.
There are some good blocking tight ends. Again, tight end's not the greatest in terms of quality this draft outside of Kenyon Sadiq, but if you're looking for a blocking tight end, there are options.
Yeah, it's a list of free agents. Without looking at like their blocking grades, it's hard to say. But yeah, they're clearly going to have to add one. You're not going to roster only 2 tight ends. So it'll be a draft, a pick, or a free agent. We'll see. We'll see who it is. They'll bring someone in.
Fair enough.
I also think they could use Theo Benedict some in a role like that as like a blocking tight end fullback guy at times.
Fair enough. All right. You want to talk a little
Joshy Sweaty?
Read my mind.
Little Joshy Sweaty?
Almost like you knew what I was going to say.
I'm down. Let's talk a little Josh Sweat. Talk a little Josh Sweat. Okay. All right. Josh Sweat. Could the Bears trade for him? The Maxx Crosby dream may be dead, but maybe this one isn't. We'll talk about it next. This is March, and our subscriber battle continues with the Raiders Report, and they got a nice little lead on us. Well, they've gotten to go live for Maxx Crosby getting traded, getting untraded. They've had a lot of content, but I think we can catch up. There's still a lot of time left this month. 1,000 subs, that's nothing. There's probably 1,000 people watching this video that aren't subscribed. If you want free and daily Bears content, and if you want to take down those frauds over at the Raiders Report, I like my guy Mitch, but I like winning more. Hit that subscribe button. The Maxx Crosby trade might be dead, but another one may not be. Let's talk about it next. Could the Chicago Bears trade for Cardinals edge rusher Josh Sweat? Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. My name is Harrison Graham. Sweat reportedly has asked out of Arizona. Now, that's a little unclear at this point in time, which we'll talk about in a second with some of the reporting that's out there. But if he is available, if Arizona, who's probably going to stink next year, is willing to trade him, should the Bears get in on him? I think that is certainly someone I would look into. Johnny Venerable from PHNX, part of the All City Network, who is someone who covers the Cardinals, reported this. He said, I think Josh Sweat will get traded. I'll break some news right now. When Jonathan Gannon got fired, Josh Sweat asked to be traded. Now, maybe he's cool with Cardinals DC Nick Rallis, and it's fine now. I don't know, but he has to get traded. Now, one thing that I think is painfully obvious is Sweat doesn't fit the Cardinals' timeline. He's 28, but he turns 29 this month. At minimum, they're not going to be good this upcoming season. Now, if they hit on some draft picks, maybe the next year they could be competitive, but realistically, they're probably 2 years away. That would be the final year of Sweat's contract by then, and he'll be over 30. So if I'm Arizona, Josh Sweat coming off a career year in sacks, I would be open for business, and I'd be trying to get premium draft capital. Easton Butler, who is a Packers blogger, has apparently gotten a scoop on this. He said, Josh Sweat has requested a trade this week per source. The Packers and Eagles are both reportedly interested. Philly was the team he played for before. Philly is trying to find another star on the defensive line after losing Jalen Phillips to Carolina. Philadelphia has been sniffing around. They were in on Trey Hendrickson reportedly. We know they've been interested on Maxx Crosby as well, and Jonathan Grenard in Minnesota too. Now you look at Josh Sweat's past 4 years. Again, he was with Philly before, and if you remember the second Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl, Josh Sweat dominated our buddy Joe Thuney, who had to play left tackle in that game, and he did not handle Josh Sweat on the edge well at all. It was a rare game where Thuney struggled. Now, he wasn't playing his main position, but still. And then he backed that up, got a nice little contract with Arizona, had a career high in sacks with 12 this past season. Graded out pretty well, too, per PFF. 60 is average. He was well above that. Now, something stands out here that we're going to talk about here in a moment. 355 pass rush snaps, 168 run defensive snaps. That grade of 69.8 defending the run is fine. That's above average. That's a decent number. I like the pass rush win rate over 13%. That's above average as well. So I did some research. I went year by year. He has never played more than 241 run defensive snaps. That does kind of tell me that, hey, he may not be terrible against the run, but we don't want him out there on obvious, extensive rundowns. So he's not just a third down pass rush specialist, but this is not a guy who's going to play 85% of the snaps. It might be more like 65% of the snaps, and a lot of teams rotate their defensive linemen anyway, but I do wonder how that would impact how interested the Bears might be in terms of, okay, we'll give you this pick or that pick or whatever the case. The good news for the Bears is if they made this move, you would have Montez Sweat, Josh Sweat, Sweat Bros. We need to come up with the shirt idea if this happens. Austin Booker, who's ascending and has a high motor and can play a lot of snaps. Dayo Odeyingbo and Shamar Turner should be back and healthy, so we'll see where the Bears view them. Position-wise, they both have flexibility inside and out. Probably draft somebody too. I will say this, while it's not sexy, Josh Sweat with Montez Sweat and Austin Booker, that's not a bad top three. And look, the Bears were 31st in pass rush win rate. Even if Josh Sweat isn't like a complete dominant three-down player, he's a pretty good pass rusher. He's not dominant, he's not incredible, but he's also not making crazy money. He's making good money, and I think his production matches the contract that he has with Arizona right now. We'll get to some of the contractual stuff here in a little bit. Should the Bears trade for Josh Sweat? Before we get into potential value, which we'll explore, we'll cook up some ideas as well, just in a vacuum. Is this a guy you would like to trade for? Type T for trade, yes, they should trade for him, or P for pass, you do not want to trade for Josh Sweat. Okay, so what is the trade value for the Cardinals pass rusher? What would he command on the open market? We're going to dive into that here in just a moment. Okay, we'll pause this video. CJ Gardner-Johnson to the Bills. Okay, so there he goes. I'm just going to do a quick short on this, and we'll just pick this up. Yeah, let's just do it full screen. Let me see if Durham can do it here as well. Sorry, guys. Mid-video.
That was kind of poor. I didn't know if 1 year worth up to $6 million.
Yeah, I mean, that's
1 year worth up to $6 million.
for a guy that is not for sure going to start here. I mean, it's not a huge number, but like if you draft a safety, he's probably not a starter. So, wait for our short social guy. Give me a one-word reaction in the chat. CJ Gardner-Johnson to Buffalo.
Yeah, let's see if it's updated.
What do you guys think?
CJ Gardner-Johnson heading to the Buffalo Bills. Here, yeah, let me flip it.
So much for him waiting out.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, oh, you think I'm waiting? I'm going to sign in like 7 minutes. That's free agency sometimes. You never know. Look, he helped this team on the fly last year. I mean, when they were thin, they got some good production out of him. So good for him. Gets a decent little payday here. I would guess the base is like $3.5–4 million. As I said earlier, he was starting to get exposed a little bit as the year went on. And look, the trend continues. He's not a guy that sticks around in one place very long. So joins another contender, DJ Moore there. So that's interesting. But He is gone. He is gone. So the last secondary, at least notable member of the secondary that remains unsigned is Jaquan Brisker. There you go. All right, Durham said he can do it, so we can go ahead and do it right now. Do a quick short on C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and then just picking it up at Prize Picks. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I'll just probably have you off screen since you kind of gave a hard pause, and then just start you with whatever on screen to where you're off screen on Prize Picks, like with one of the graphics. That way
just
it's
a
an
full
easy
screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's an easy splice.
Yeah,
so.
that works.
All right.
All right, let's talk a little C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Some Bears free agency news. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is leaving Chicago. He is signing a one-year deal worth up to $6 million with the Buffalo Bills. Make sure you guys follow and subscribe for up-to-the-minute Bears content. C.J. Gardner-Johnson leaving for Buffalo. Nice little payday, up to $6 million. I'm not surprised the Bears weren't in that game because when you think about it, there's not even a guarantee he would start if the Bears brought him back. Their only opening in the secondary right now is the second safety spot next to Kobe Bryant. Kyler Gordon is clearly a starter on this team. Obviously, he needs to be healthy, but up to $6 million, that's starting level money. So not surprised. I would have liked him back for $2 or $3 million. Versatile chess piece, insurance for Kyler, but I think Cam Lewis kind of covers that off a little bit for the Bears as well. I wish him well because in the middle of last season when the Bears were extremely banged up in their secondary, he kind of saved them for a while. So best of luck to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You guys give me your one-word reaction. Alrighty.
Cool. That'll give Durham good area to edit that, and then we'll get on with the rest of the cut. Again, sorry guys, but that is one of those things where
we're live breaking down the news. So when Bears relevant news happens, we pivot. We pivot.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna get everything.
Someone's asking, is Brisker still on the Bears? No, he's a free agent. Doesn't mean he won't be back, but I still don't think he will be. Okay, we'll get back into our video here about Josh Sweat. So let's do it. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. March is here, and it's the best time for hoops. We're talking points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers. The stakes have never been higher. If you want to set a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 or more players regardless of sport and take more or less on the stat projections. All sports are available. And if you're a football junkie and you're thinking, well, it's the offseason. No, season-long stat projections are here. You can start setting your lineups for some season-long stat projections next season. Fire away. 3-player lineup right here of Myles Garrett, more on his sack totals. Caleb Williams, more on his passing yards totals. And then Colston Loveland, more on his receiving touchdowns of 6.5. $20 entry to win $100. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups. Once you sign up and play your first $5 lineup, that is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Okay, some relevant information to consider here when it comes to Josh Sweat and what a potential trade could look like. Well, okay, how old's the player? How long's he been in the league? 2018 was his first year. He turns 29 in March, so he's not old, but he's been around for a bit. Now, his snap totals haven't been crazy high because, again, doesn't play as many run defensive snaps, and he's been very durable. He's only missed 5 games since his second season in 2019. 5 games total for a defensive lineman that's really good durability. So I like that. He's got 3 years left on his contract, but there's no guaranteed money after this year. So after this season, it's a pretty flexible contract. You can restructure, you can cut/trade him pretty easily if you want to because it's not a tough contract to take on for other teams. Now, an important detail for Arizona's side of things is he's due a $7.2 million option bonus on March 20th. So if they're going to trade him, they would probably like to do it before then so they can be off the hook for that money, as a team trading for him would likely agree to take that on, because it's not a huge number, but it is a number. And we know Michael Bidwell's pretty cheap in Arizona, so he's probably telling his guys, hey, if you're trading him, let's avoid that bonus there. As far as his remaining contract, these are his current cap hits with Arizona: 16.4 this year and then 23.6 in each of the next 2 years, which those would carry over with the Bears. But remember, the last 2 years would. Remember, though, no guaranteed money left, so you can cut him / trade him relatively easy after this year, and especially after 2027, you can get out of that deal pretty easily if it doesn't work out for whatever reason. Now, if you are trading for Josh Sweat, his cap hit next year would just be $12.7 million. So if the Bears were to trade for him today, it's less than $13 million cap hit. So they could do that pretty easily, restructure 1 or 2 contracts that they currently have, and be cap compliant pretty easily. So this is a guy that's a good player. His contract isn't too bad. And again, if it didn't work out, you could pivot off of him in a year or 2, likely 2. I think you'd want to keep him at least through 2027, no matter what, because A, you're going to give up something notable, and B, it is easier after 27 to pivot off. But the contract is reasonable. And when you think about the market this offseason for defensive linemen, I mean, Jalen Phillips, $30 million per year. Is he an $8 to $12 million better player than Josh Sweat? I don't think so. Odafe Owe, 25. I mean, this guy's making, I think he signed 4 for $80 with Arizona. And again, there's no guaranteed money left after this season. So, that could lead to the draft pick being notable. Like in a vacuum, it's saying, okay, 3rd round pick for a 29-year-old might cost you a second, especially where the Bears are picking, in the late part of the rounds. They have the 57th and 60th pick in round 2, 89 in round 3, which is still a good pick. It's top 90 pick. You got the 4th rounder and then the 2 7th rounders. Now, I would love to get him for 89. If you could do that today, boom, let's do it. Sign me up. Josh Sweat for the 89th pick. I wouldn't even think twice about that. I just think that's too good a value. You're not, risking your future in some major way by giving up the 89th pick for Josh Sweat and his pretty reasonable contract. So let's cook up 3 trade ideas then. That's my first one. That would be my first offer. If I'm Ryan Poles, hey, Arizona, 89th pick for Josh Sweat. You guys are rebuilding. Get a top 90 pick, another dart throw as you retool your roster. Okay, they say no. All right, this is another offer I would entertain. I'll give you 60. Give me 141 back. Give me a 5th round pick back for Josh Sweat. It's kind of the DJ Moore trade that Buffalo made. They gave the Bears a 2, got back Moore and a 5th. It would be the same deal. The Bears help replenish that 5th round pick they lost in the DJ Moore trade, and then they have 1 pick in each of the first 5 rounds and 2 7th round picks, which is what they had initially when this offseason began. Before we get to my final trade idea, what about Tyson Bagent? Arizona was always on the list of teams that I thought would be interesting for Tyson Bagent to potentially get traded to. Now, the Cardinals signed Gardner-Minshew, so they've kind of got 2 bridge starters with Brissett and Minshew. One of them would be the starter, one the backup. It sounds like if they roll with those 2 guys, Brissett would start and Minshew would be the backup. But do they need both those guys? Maybe they'd be intrigued with Bagent and they could flip Brissett to another QB-needy team or a team that wants a high-level backup. That is certainly a possibility as well. Now, from what I've heard and what's been out there, it seems like the Bears value Tyson Bagent as a 2nd-round pick. I do think they would consider a 3rd, though. And so let's just say they would, in the end, the league maybe values Bagent as a 4th. The Bears value him as a 2nd. You compromise, and he's a 3rd-round value. So let's call him a 3rd-round value here. So you're trading a 3rd and a 4th, Tyson Bagent and a 4th, for Josh Sweat and a 6th. If we're calling Josh Sweat a 2nd-round value, you get a 2nd-round value player, a 6th-round pick back for a 3rd and a 4th. That kind of adds up. That checks out on kind of the math, the calculus on a fair trade for both sides. Now, I'm not saying the Bears would do this. I don't know if they would make this kind of offer, but I think from a value standpoint, that is probably what you would be looking at. I think they would prefer just some kind of draft pick trade to get Josh Sweat and they could keep Bagent as their backup. But remember, they gave Case Keenum a 2-year deal. So they have a guy in place if they do decide to trade Bagent in some sort of trade for either draft capital or player capital. So we'll see. I don't know if Arizona is still interested in Bagent. If they ever were, they do have 2 quarterbacks under contract. But again, they could move Brissett's contract pretty easily and roll with the Tyson Bagent, Gardner-Minshew pairing for 2026. So name a player that the Bears should trade for. Do you want Josh Sweat? Do you want something else? Are you holding out for the crazy pipe dream at this point of Maxx Crosby? Drop the player's name down in the comment section of this video. My name is Harrison Graham. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to continue to pump out content throughout NFL free agency and into the offseason as we get closer to the draft as well. So subscribe and bear down. Okay, Bears should sign Justin Fields as a fullback. Now, that's an idea I've never heard. A fullback. I've heard a backup quarterback. I've heard starting quarterback. I've heard running back. I've heard receiver. I've heard tight end. I've heard Taysom Hill. I have not heard fullback, Cullen Brown. We've got a new one. We've got a new one.
What can't Justin Fields do?
Consistent drop back passing.
Among other things. Also, I still can't get over this photo from Aaron Wolf. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, the Silverbacks. It's something. Have we heard anything about Cam Jordan, chat's asking? I have not seen anything, but at his age, he's going to be patient and sign for the right situation.
I would be shocked if he signs before training camp.
Oh, really? You think it lasts that long?
I think it could.
It could. I don't know if that's a given, but he's in that category where he could just wait it out for a while.
I just think he's moving on from a place that he has been his entire NFL career, right? So wherever he goes is going to be a change. I think he's going to take his time. I think he'll kind of, wait till everything, settles in terms of do you think he signs before the draft? Because I don't. I think he's probably waiting post-draft to sign somewhere.
I think if he got good money, he would take it.
Sure.
Because part of why he's open to leaving New Orleans is I don't think they offered him anything significant before free agency. So some teams 1 year $8 million, 1 year $10 million, that may not be available in June, July. So I think he would take the right deal for the right team. But if that's not out there, then he probably just waits it out, stays in shape, and either in the end maybe he goes back to New Orleans or he waits for a contending team that's willing to bring him on board.
Shout out to Cameron Crispy.
And he could also wait out the draft and just see what roles are available. Because what he doesn't want to do is sign with a team. That team adds a few defensive linemen that diminishes his role. And then it's does that make sense for me to even be on this team?
Right. I think if it's Cameron Jordan, if he doesn't sign by the time the draft happens, and the same with a lot of these guys like Bosa or Clowney or anything, they're going to have to wait a little bit because they're going to have their value in their heads of what they're at. They'll wait it out, and then maybe come training camp time, that's when teams, again, maybe are kind of sitting there viewing what they have in their rosters. Maybe he gets into preseason even, and they kind of sign for a 1-year kind of deal. Maybe Cam Jordan does get a contract from somebody before then. He, to me, kind of falls in that bucket of veteran defensive end who still can contribute in this league. How much is a team willing to pay him? And is he going to be able to get that deal that he wasn't able to get from New Orleans?
For sure.
So
we've seen Clowney do it for years. And Clowney's younger and whatnot. So certainly possible.
That's just my 2 cents. He could literally sign in 30 seconds, and I'd be wrong. But I just think he's going to be one of those guys that it drags out a little bit. We've seen it with guys, too, where these edges that clearly have value and teams would look to want to sign, it just, for whatever reason, it just kind of drags out throughout the entire NFL offseason. I mean, how many certain videos have you made about the Bears signing a potential edge rusher that's gone into June, July, and et cetera, just since you've been the host?
Yeah, I mean,
does he fall into that bucket? I guess
every year I feel like I'm talking about Clowney into training camp. So
does Cam Jordan fall into that bucket?
For sure. He definitely falls into that bucket, but again, I just don't think that's it's not guaranteed that that'll happen. That's all I'm saying. If he gets the right monetary value for a contender, I think he'd sign today, if it's the right amount. But that may not be available.
How likely would you say that is? That he gets the monetary value that he's
If we get to like mid next week and he hasn't signed, I would say the odds shift to he's at least waiting through the draft.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Okay. Fair enough.
I also think he's played his whole career with New Orleans.
Right.
To sign a paper of him leaving to actually leave, like he's not going to rush that. So
it's also true.
See where it goes.
That is also true.
I'm publishing this short if you want to answer the next couple.
I can do that. Z says Ben is getting his running back / defensive line investments were in 2025. Are you saying like Kyle Monungai and his investments were 2025?
Ben is getting his running back DL investments.
I'm not sure what you're asking here.
Saying like, are you saying like they made defensive line investments last year in Shamar Turner, Dayo Odeyingbo, and Grady Jarrett last year, and that you think Ben's going to get his running back? Look, if you told me the Bears traded for Devon Achane, let's fucking ride. Like, I'm all over that. And look, yeah, I mean, I still think they're going to draft a defensive lineman or two this year, but, you know, if they're projecting ahead the 53 that Dayo and Turner are going to be on the 53, and I would say right now, barring a surprise, both will, then, yeah, I mean, that could be part of why they're not making a big splash this year, and next year becomes more of a defensive line splash just based on the roster construction. So we'll see what happens. The problem is this draft isn't loaded with top-end running backs. So if you're talking about Ben's getting his running back, well, he's not getting Jeremiah Love, barring a surprise. So is he trading for one? Are you trading for Achane or someone else?
If
Breece Hall, who's on the franchise tag?
If the Bears keep both their second-round picks, let's just say for hypothetical argument's sake, they just draft where they draft the entirety of 2026. If you're sitting there at pick 60 and Jadarian Price is staring you in the face,
I'm at least interested.
I mean, I
know he didn't test amazingly, but like I've watched the guy play 7 or 8 times. He's a big-time player.
I think he's a really good running back. I
think he can be a starter in this league and for sure part of a committee, which we know Ben wants to use multiple running backs. So
pair him, Swift, Monungai's your third.
I mean, I think if you take it back in the second round, you might even try to trade Swift on day 3 to get an extra pick.
Maybe.
I think Price and Monungai can absolutely hold it down, and you Britton Brown or Roschon or a free agent is your third running back. I think that would likely be the scenario there.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Cameron Crispin sends in a 50. We greatly appreciate you, brother.
Cameron.
Thank you, sir. He says, have we signed anyone today? And if Jeremiah Love falls out of the top 10, would you trade up to draft him and bear down FGB?
I think he falls in that group of players where if they slip outside the top 10, you're at least poking around. You're making calls. I think him, Caleb Downs, I would put Ruben Bain in that category. I don't know if the Bears would with the arm length issue. If somehow – what's his name from David Bailey slipped for whatever reason. Like I think there's a group of 4, 5, 6 players that if they fell outside the top 10 somehow, you would start at least calling around to see if you could get said player. Jeremiah Love is among that group.
I would say he's just about as can't miss of a prospect as there is in this draft. Like him, Caleb Downs, like you could throw in some other guys in there in terms of just, hey, if you had to bet who is going to be a really good football player at the next level.
As a pure prospect, and it's hard to like without, I don't know where your mind was 12 months ago, but as a pure prospect, based on what you remember,
Better than Genty.
Yeah, I was going to say, take what we saw his rookie year out of it.
Better than Genty.
I agree. And you guys know me, I loved Ashton Genty, and I still think he's going to be a really good player.
Jeremiah Love is a better prospect going into the NFL than Ashton Jeanty
He's
was.
bigger. I think he can run away from people a little better. Genty's got better contact balance, I would say.
Lower to the ground, obviously, that helps. But
that helps. Pass pro, hard to say, but I just
neither
think
one of them are great. But at the end of the day, that can be taught as well.
If you're asking me, like, who has a better chance of being a top 5 running back in this league for a long time, it's Love.
Jeremiah Love.
I agree. I think both could be, but I think if I'm betting on one, it's Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love, to me, is just going to be a souped-up, a guy that's got 4.3 speed, who has got a little underrated wiggle to him. I'm not saying he's a joystick or anything, but he's got some wiggle to him. He's got some pretty soft hands. I've seen him catch passes. He's not going to be a natural pass catcher in terms of, like, you're not going to split him out wide however many times a game, but can make some catches out of the backfield. I just think he's going to be a guy that, barring he just goes to a team that doesn't know what the F they're doing, he's going to succeed. He's about as him and Caleb Downs, to me, are like.
Even if he goes to a team that's not smart, like, that's a position, like, he's still going to be productive.
Exactly.
Like, even Genty last year on one of the most disastrous teams I've seen, by the end of the year, you looked up, it's like, I still had like 1,200 all-purpose yards, I think. Like, It's not like he wasn't productive.
Richard, trade involving Tyson in Arizona would be enough for Sweat. So you're saying
like a swap, just straight up?
I don't think that'd be enough.
I would do that. I don't know if Arizona would do that, especially already after signing a quarterback.
You could make the argument, like, if you insert Tyson Bagent on the Cardinals roster, you could make the argument that he would be their best quarterback, in which case, if the Cardinals feel that way, then maybe they would be more inclined to. That being said, it feels like Chicago would have to attach something to Bagent to get Sweat.
Well, that's why I did Bagent in a 4th for Sweat in a 6th.
Sure.
Is that enough? I don't know. And I base that off what I think the Bears value him, and I kind of split the difference between the league. Mm-hmm. I think the league probably was offering the Bears 4th-round picks. The Bears value him as a 2nd, so if you meet in the middle of a 3rd and a 4th for Sweat in a 6th, which is essentially a 2nd and a 6th, that pretty much evens out. Like if you looked at trade charts.
These dudes never criticize Poles' terrible moves.
You must not have watched when Nate Davis was on this team. I've been pretty Dayo's been bad. I mean,
Chase Claypool, I don't know if anybody's.
I mean, I defended the Claypool move in real time because you needed a weapon, but obviously it aged poorly. I have been a little defensive of that one because I understood why they did it. They were trying to see if Justin Fields was their answer, and they didn't have playmakers. So it's like, let's try to get him one. Now, clearly, it was a disaster. It was a bad trade, but like, I think there was logic to the move. The Dayo thing, the lesson there is just because a guy has an interesting physical profile, you take that swing in the draft not after a rookie contract, right? Not after 4 years of evidence in the NFL. Like, that's a guy you get, okay, you want to take a swing, give him 1 year and $10 million, not 3 and 48. And if that was his market, let someone else make that mistake, which I think is part of what we saw this offseason. Like, yeah, I'm not getting in that Jalen Phillips business, who's actually been better than Dayo, but I'm not giving him $80 million guaranteed. So risky. So risky. So, I mean, they say I haven't been critical of Poles. I was more lean fire Poles like before they got Johnson than the opposite. I literally said it's probably justified and it probably makes sense if you fired Matt Eberflus to also Ryan Poles. Now I did add the caveat of, hey, if Ben wants to work with Ryan, I'm cool with keeping him. Do whatever to get Ben Johnson. And Ben wanted to work with Ryan, so I got no problem. And 1 year on the job, it's worked out pretty well. So, I think Ben Johnson is the number one shot caller in the organization. I think Ryan Poles riding shotgun works a lot better than sitting in the captainship. And I think 1 year in, we have evidence of that being the case.
Sure, the dynamic is obviously different compared to Matt Eberflus. the last offseason, I think, did wonders for Poles' just image in terms of kind of how he's perceived. I mean, again, was he perfect? No, but you added 3 studs in the offensive line. You couldn't control that Drew Dalton was going to retire, but you still added 3 really good offensive line
Trapillo
pieces.
was coming around. They found them late second.
Trapillo,
He looked like at least a above-average left tackle in the making, and hopefully he still is.
I mean, first round, they took Colston Loveland. That looks like it's paying off and is going to continue to pay off. Luther Burden, again, somebody that fell to them, but they still made the pick. And then, look, you'll see what happens with Shamar Turner. It's just one of those where, are they perfect? No. Clearly, the Dayo Odeyingbo pick, Ruben Hippolyte hasn't contributed much as a 4th rounder, but again, it's a 4th rounder. Teams miss on 4th rounders all the time. If you look at Ryan Poles' 2025 kind of offseason grade, you'd have to grade it. I would assume at least like a B plus.
Well, and if part of the grade is getting Ben here, I don't know how much he specifically gets credit, but he gets some, right? Like, I mean, you have to give him some credit. So, like, I think it's fair to say the last 12 months have been the best of Poles' time here. Now, I think that's also where you have to start connecting dots, be like, oh, that's also when Ben's been here. So he clearly has a big voice in these decisions. So, yeah, I think it's been an up and down tenure. I also think he took over a pretty bad situation. I don't know if we'll ever know the full story of the Eberflus hire. We know they had the same agent. We know Bill Polian was very high on Matt Eberflus, and that's who George McCaskey tasked with hiring the GM and coach that offseason. So, like, you know.
Oh, the Steelers signed Jaquan Brisker.
Oh, there he goes.
The last 2 remaining secondary members of the Chicago Bears that were free agents are now headed elsewhere to Buffalo and Pittsburgh, respectively.
I think we got enough for just a news cut now.
Yep. Let me kind of swing.
Yeah, so we'll push the.
Well, bear down for life. This is unfortunate super chat timing.
Yeah, for real.
Let me kind of get things in order here.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this out real quick. Do we have contract details? Jaquan Brisker, there he goes. There he goes. One-word reaction in the chat to Kwani B officially leaving. Didn't I say the other day he kind of feels like a Steeler? I think I did say that. There he goes. All right. There he goes. The Jaquan Brisker Bears era will always be, there's always going to be some level of what if. The concussion stuff, you know, we never saw him like consistently play at that high level. But, God, you watch him in that Rams game, and you're like, if you played like this all the time, you could be a fringe all-pro. But it never came all the way together, unfortunately. Best of luck to Kwani B. Nothing yet. Not yet. I need to put in production. You want to start a new tab here? I got it actually. We're going to do a video. Let's do Brisker, CJ Gardner-Johnson. And we'll hit Kyler in this as well. To Minnesota, it's divisional news. Just add that in there just as the 3 topics. All right, guys, we're about to do a segment with Brisker, CJ Gardner-Johnson leaving, plus Kyler Murray to the Vikings. We'll do it all here. Do a short on this in a second as well. Best of luck. Best of luck. Jaquan Brisker. Okay, it looks like details might be coming in. 1 year, $5.5 million. 5.5. $5.5 million. Not a ton. It shows you they were never bringing him back, which was pretty obvious. In a vacuum, I think that's a good deal, but they've told you they want to get faster and they want guys who can do different things. And he struggles in coverage. He's good in the box. So it's not what they're looking for. You and I can disagree, but I think that coupled with his concussion history, they weren't going to bring him back. They want speed. They want versatility. That's what they're eyeing. That's what they're eyeing. Yeah, 3 stories. We don't need too much. Fire Poles, he's a joke. Don't get too emotional, guys. You can't make these decisions emotionally. Why trade so many key guys on defense? Well, they're not trading. They're letting them go. I mean, they were like 26th in total defense, guys. They had a ton of takeaways, but they're trying to get faster. They're trying to get more versatile. It's a prototype shift that they're doing. Prototype shift. Just merch. We'll just do merch. Just tell whoever. You got it? No, you're good. All right, we're going to react to all this, and then we'll probably call it a day here. It's already 6:15, so we'll hit this news, and then we will sign off. It's been a busy week. Thanks to everybody for being here. Yeah, we'll hit whatever super chats are left. Someone said they got the tracker. Maybe it's sinking. All right, Jaquan Brisker. I like your brown shirt, Harrison Graham. Thank you, Chris Aldridge. We can hit super chats in the meantime while we're waiting. Yeah, if you're able to, we can do that while we're waiting on this. I'll do it right now if you. Yeah, it's just gonna have a lower third. Same thing I just did that Durham did, and just do. Yeah, Brisker to Pittsburgh, something. All right. More Bears free agency news. Jaquan Brisker is leaving Chicago. He is signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Make sure you guys subscribe and follow for more Bears content. 1 year, $5.5 million, which isn't a ton. Kind of tells you he was never coming back. The Bears want to get faster and more versatile in their secondary. Quantity B's good in the box. He's good against the run. He's good downhill. He gets lost and he struggles in coverage. And he's got a deep concussion history. I give him a lot of credit this year for staying healthy this season, but I think also there's a reason he waited until day 5 to find a contract. I wish him the best of luck moving forward. Brought a lot of energy to this team. I wish it would have worked out better. That game against the Rams in the playoffs, it's like, man, why couldn't we see that more? But Pittsburgh gets a highly motivated individual and a solid player in Brisker. Bears got to fill that spot in their secondary with Kobe Bryant filling Kevin Byard's. All righty. Ironically, this was the last super chat. You got 1 year, 5, right in the middle of that, 5 to 6. So you were on it. Dennis just got out of prison. Did Flus and Justin Fields bring us a Super Bowl? Man, we thought Flus and JF won. That was going to do it. Nope. Maybe in Madden, Dennis.
Maybe in Madden. All right. I think. Is there any particular order you want to hit all these guys?
Let's go Brisker leaving first, CJ Gardner-Johnson leaving, and then we'll hit Kyler on the back half.
Okay.
We can go Brisker, CJ Gardner-Johnson, plug the merch, Kyler, and then if we still need filler, just tracker stuff.
So both safeties leaving, and then merge, and then Kyler, and then all the other. Yeah, got
Yep.
it. Got it.
Hit a sub somewhere early, then some kind of weigh-in somewhere.
For sure. All right, what else we've got? Alex Todd feels like Kobe Bryant. Removal from Seattle and the recent secondary moves are aimed at Seattle and LA for a playoff run. Are we too small versus Green Bay on defense?
I don't think so. I mean, why would who are you talking about too small for? Like Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft? I think the Bears. I mean, I'm trying to think Kevin Byard's not Cyclops out there. Brisker's a big safety, but he struggles in coverage. That when I think of when the Bears have struggled against the Packers, especially last season, even though the Bears won 2 out of 3 games, it's giving up consistent completions.
Why is this?
Did something just happen?
No, they finally updated. Here's Jaquan Brisker. You have 1 year 5. Can you let me know what title you want for that short? I can send it to Reed.
I can put it in there. It's fine.
Okay.
You're good. All right. Okay. Alex feels like okay. We already answered that. I don't really know what you're going for there. I mean, Tremaine Edmonds is a big defensive player. Didn't cover that well. So, Rampage. Why does everyone want Brisker back? Draft a safety. I said it for a month in the offseason. You're not going to bring back Brisker. They probably will try to re-sign Kevin Byard, which I think they did. But if not, they'll sign someone else and they'll draft a safety to pair with him. I think that's exactly what's happening. They're going to draft a safety to pair with him, If the draft doesn't fall in their favor, they'll bring in some vet after the draft. There's always safeties hanging out. I think that's what they're doing. Dennis Allen wants versatile DBs. You think of his best defenses, they always had them. Why do you think Tyrann Mathieu ended up going to New Orleans? Because he can do a ton of different shit in the back end. So, all right.
We've got 2 more here.
2 more, then we'll get into the segment.
Yep.
Marion Williams, locker room culture issues. Rumors that DJ refused to restructure but did on the Bills. And KB leaves after being a captain leader despite same offer. The Byard thing is interesting. Guys, everything we heard about last year was how great the locker room and culture was. I think let's not overreact. DJ, they were always trading DJ. I tried telling you guys. I said, sure, I'd be open to a restructure, but they're going to trade him. They traded him. I don't know if he refused to restructure. I guess I could try to dig around and see, but he was never playing at that price tag. Kevin Byard, I think the Bears wanted him back, but his price tag was probably higher before the one he initially signed for. They wanted to go younger and faster. Tremaine, the money never made sense. So, yeah, that's losing some leadership, but you're not keeping him for $17 million. This offseason, the guys that have left, I feel like I kind of tried to tell you who was going to leave. I said Brisker's not going to be back. Byard was the one that I thought they'd try to bring back. And I do think they tried to, but Tremaine was always going to be gone. DJ was almost always going to be gone. I'm not Nostradamus here, but I think you could see the writing on the wall for some of these guys. So it is what it is. Jacob, hey, Harrison, make the shirt say too sweaty. Okay. Romy's saying cap. Cap on what? What did I call cap on? Or what are you calling cap on?
Okay.
I said they would bring back Byard and draft a safety. Well, they didn't bring back or try to bring back Byard and draft a safety. If they can't bring back Byard, they'll get another safety and they're going to draft one. I think that's what's happening. It says, why aren't we spending more? Well, who do you want to get? Again, we can want different things, but it's pretty much played out exactly how I thought. They told us at the Combine, we want to get faster. Well, that doesn't fit Jaquan Brisker. That didn't fit Tremaine Edmunds. They're not speed guys. Sometimes when they tell you what they're going to do, believe them. Yeah, I like that too. Nice. That's heat.
Super heat.
All right, let's get into this cut.
No one's claimed it yet. I just put it in production. So,
we could always just sign off and grab it, worst case.
Yeah.
Oh, Searle. All right, let's do this thing. We'll catch up on any super chats at the last second, and then we will call it a day after that. Here we go. Chicago Bears news. Couple guys leaving. Kyler Murray joins the division. Let's break it all down. We got a lot of Bears free agency news to get to here on day 4 of NFL free agency. My name is Harrison Graham. A couple members of the Bears secondary are leaving. Let's start with the notable one. That is Jaquan Brisker, the former Bears second-round pick. Going back to the state he played his college ball in when he played at Penn State, he is joining the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year deal worth $5.5 million. And as the week went on, you kind of thought, he's probably not going to get a lot of money. He's not going to get 2 for 20, 3 for 30, something like that. It's probably going to be a 1 or 2 year deal for $5, $6, $7 million per year. And that's right when it fell in. And I know a lot of fans wanted him back and are saying, why didn't we pay that? We'll get into it coming up here on Chicago Bears Now. But if you want up to the minute, up to date Chicago Bears news, rumors, and more content, hit that subscribe button. We got you covered here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. When news drops, we're breaking it down here on this channel. So, look, Kwani B, always going to be a guy that delivered entertainment. And to me, he's always going to be a what-if guy for a couple of reasons. One, obviously the concussions. I think that was a big setback in his chances of getting a second contract here. Now, I gave him a lot of credit this year for playing all 17 games. I thought his game against the Rams was maybe the best of his career. But this next graphic to me is why they're moving on from Brisker, along with the concussion history. He's not good in coverage. He's just not good in coverage. 120 passer rating. He's solid in the box, but Dennis Allen wants versatility in his defensive backs. He wants both of his safeties to be able to cover on the back end, and that's not really who Brisker is. He's a downhill player that you can blitz, who's willing to light people up in the box, and he gives up a lot of explosives on the back end. And that's fine in a true traditional safety type of scheme where you're willing to bring him downhill. I think in the Matt Eberflus system, that was fine. It was more of a do-your-job scheme. But Dennis Allen wants to have disguises on the back end, and it's harder to do that when you don't trust if a guy can cover. Remember Dennis Allen late in the year was asked, hey, what does Jaquan Brisker bring to you? And he kind of hesitated. He was like, well, there's a physical element that he brings to us. I think that was kind of a tell. Like, he's not what he's looking for. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Kwani B. He's got a skill set that will play in this league if he can stay healthy. I just don't think it fits what the Bears are trying to do moving forward. That's all. And so he lands in Pittsburgh. I think that is a pretty good fit. I like that for him, and I certainly wish him the best. And look, at that price tag, if you told me they brought him back, I'd be like, hey, that's pretty good value. I don't mind that at all. But I've said it for 2 months. They're going to bring back a safety. They'll try for it to be Kevin Byard, and then they're probably going to draft someone with him. Well, it didn't end up being Kevin Byard. That couldn't work out for whatever reason. He ended up in New England. They went to Kobe Bryant. 3-year, $40 million, really versatile player, and they're going to draft a guy to pair with him. I don't know who it's going to be, but maybe it's Dylan Thieneman, maybe it's Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, maybe it's someone on day 2. We'll wait and see. Draft 6 weeks away. Adios to Kwani B. Best of luck. CJ Gardner-Johnson also exits. He gets 1 year up to $6 million, so he could actually make a little more than Jaquan Brisker. I'm not surprised by this one. I think once they signed Cam Lewis, that was kind of your Kyler Gordon backup safety hedge type of signing, which is what Gardner-Johnson would have been had they brought him back. Up to $6 million, that's likely starting caliber money. And again, especially as the year went on, and DA wants to play man coverage a decent amount, CJ Gardner-Johnson doesn't hold up in man coverage anymore. I mean, how often were the Packers picking on him? Slants, crossers, stuff like that. When they signed him, he kind of saved the season for the defense in the middle of the year. So I give him a lot of credit for that, but it was always likely a Band-Aid move. I said it this week. If it's a $2 or $3 million deal and he's back where he's a high-level backup that plays in dime packages, or maybe he starts at safety if you don't end up drafting one, okay. But if he's getting up to $6 million, the Bears were not going to give him that. And again, they're looking for speed, versatility. CJ Gardner-Johnson does have some versatility, but he's not an elite cover guy anymore. Neither is Jaquan Brisker, which is why I think those two guys are walking out of the building. And let's face it with Gardner-Johnson, too. It seemed to work out and fit pretty well in Chicago. He bounces around for a reason. I think these teams kind of get tired of him after a while. This is like his 6th team in 5 years or something like that. So we'll see how that one works in Buffalo. He reunites with DJ Moore as he is now a Buffalo Bill. Now we'll get to Kyler Murray in a minute as he is joining the NFC North. But if you want to get some of our merchandise, go to chatsports.com/Bears shop. Tons of gear available. We got T-shirts, hoodies, hats, all kinds of different designs, all kinds of different themes. You got the Iceman gear, which I still think the Navy Iceman hoodie is the best item in the entire shop, and it's only $44.99. Got the T-shirts available in navy and white as well. You can get the white hoodie too. FGB line T-shirts and hoodies, all kinds of stuff. If we've ever made the merch, if it's ever been made, it is at that link. All the merch can be found there. chatsports.com/bearshop. Click and shop today. Link is in the comments and description of this video. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and check it all out. Okay, let's talk about Kyler Murray now, as he is going to be joining the Minnesota Vikings on a 1-year vet minimum deal. And the reason it's vet minimum is because there's offset language with Arizona. They're going to pay him like $37 million this year. So that's kind of the luxury Minnesota had here. Similar to when Russell Wilson joined the Steelers, the prior team is paying him. So he doesn't have to sign for more than that. If he does, then Arizona pays him less. So he can't make more than what he's making in Arizona other than the vet minimum. So that was his situation. And this is very fascinating because, look, Kyler Murray, say what you want. To me, barring major improvements from J.J. McCarthy, is a pretty clear upgrade. Now, the last few years have been weird. He's been banged up a lot recently. In the last 4 seasons, he's only played 1 full year. But his highs are still pretty high. He can move. He's athletic. He's got a strong arm. However, a lot of Kevin O'Connell's offense is drop back, throw the ball over the middle of the field, which Kyler Murray can layer the ball and can do some of that, but he's also 5'9". So there are limitations there. So I'm very curious to see, A, if he wins the job, if it's a competition, which if they label this a competition, I think it's one of those fake competitions, kind of like Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. That was never a real competition. It was always Daniel Jones. Maybe that could be the case here. Maybe they trade J.J. McCarthy. I'm not sure what happens. But B, if it is going to be Kyler, what adjustments does Kevin O'Connell make to his offense? Because I think you got to lean into what Kyler does well and let him move and freelance and have some design rollouts and stuff like that. And also, where can Kyler potentially evolve as a drop-back quarterback to fit into some of the schematical things that Kevin O'Connell wants? I'm fascinated to see if it works out. Now, the Chicago Bears have someone by the name of Kobe Bryant. He has picked up Kyler Murray multiple times. I tweeted out on my Twitter at HGramNFL, good thing the Bears signed the Kyler Murray killer in Kobe Bryant because he's had a lot of success against Kyler Murray in his career. But it'll be very interesting. I think Minnesota becomes one of the most intriguing teams in the NFL because they've got a talented roster. They've got Justin Jefferson. They've got Jordan Addison. They've got a couple of decent running backs in Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Their offensive line, if healthy, should be solid. Their defense is good with Brian Flores. So we'll see if Kyler Murray can become the latest quarterback to kind of rebuild his image in his career, play well, and either become the Vikings' long-term answer or go get paid elsewhere. There is a no franchise tag clause in the contract, so if he plays well, Minnesota either has to pay him or just let him go. They can't tag him. They can't tag and trade him. Can't do any of that. So it's going to be an interesting 12 months, really 9, 10 months for Kevin O'Connell, Kyler Murray, and that Vikings organization. And hopefully the Chicago Bears can kick their asses. Who should the Bears sign next? I know people are frustrated about Kwani B and even C.J. Gardner-Johnson leaving. Take a breath. They're looking at different prototypes. I wouldn't freak out too much about it. Now, if they go 4 rounds in the NFL draft without a safety, then yeah, they're going to have to, bring in a lesser caliber vet probably after the draft. But I think they're going to find someone and be just fine. Okay, follow me on social media. It's at HGram NFL on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, Harrison Graham Chat Sports. Search that in your Facebook app or go to facebook.com/HGramNFL. I'll pop up right there. Go ahead and give me a follow. We would greatly appreciate it. And, of course, subscribe and bear down. All right, there you have it. We will catch up on some super chats, and then we will get out of here. Sorry, texting Hannah real quick.
No, you're good. I don't know if this one from Anthony.
Realistically, on paper, how much better are we on defense? We were bad last year, but we weren't the worst because of our takeaways. No way we're going to have that much again, so is our defense worse? Well, I think it's an incomplete picture right now. Let's talk after the draft. Clearly, they have not done much to improve their pass rush. But they told you they want to get faster, and that's what they've been targeting. Devin Bush is much faster than anyone they have at linebacker. They brought back DeMarco Jackson, and the money they gave him suggests he's going to have at least a role. Whether it's a full-time starting role, that remains to be seen. TJ Edwards is obviously the X factor there, whether he's in the picture or not. And then Kobe Bryant is a versatile safety that plays fast and can do a lot of different things. They're tweaking the prototype. So, like, you might say, well, Byard left, sure, you got Bryant, but there hasn't been, like, new additions. No, but there's been different type of players they've brought in. They need to improve the pass rush. That's my biggest question mark. They're going to draft a safety, and I think the back end, if healthy, is going to be better and is going to fit what they want to do, most importantly. And I agree. And I think part of the changing of the prototypes, Anthony, is to your point, they know they can't bank on leading the league in takeaways. So they have to get better on a down-to-down basis. Well, the way you do that to me is you get the type of players you want in there that fit what you do, and I think you got to be able to get after the quarterback better. So if they don't make additions that help you do that, I think that is the legit criticism. I'm not concerned about Jaquan Brisker leaving. You can replace Jaquan Brisker. Can you get better up front to rush the passer? That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. And you might say, well, then why didn't they go all in on Maxx Crosby? Well, I don't think you could just give the Raiders whatever they want for a 29-year-old with some injuries. Like, you do have to balance everything. So, look, the offseason is far from over. We've got the draft. There's still some trade and potential free agent moves they can make. Let's see what they do next. Let's see what they do. I think they've made some sensible moves so far, but the picture's not complete yet. Homero, hey guys, just joining. Should we trade for Josh Sweat? Thoughts? Broke that all down. It will go out as an individual video probably in the morning now. It was going to go out tonight, but we just had some news, so that's going to go out. But stay tuned. We will see. Austin, Geno Stone or Andre Cisco could be cheaper free agents. Yeah, I think someone of that caliber, like, I think they would wait until after the draft. Like, if for some reason they don't get someone they want in the draft, then they would circle back to that position. Now, maybe if someone gets cheap enough, they would pull the trigger on it just to have some security before the draft. But I don't think that's where they're at right now. I need to send Searle a title, or I can put it in the doc, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to do boatload.
But yeah, some cheaper free agent options. I would expect draft, though, to be somewhere.
Draft is the focus
for
the other safety. There's always cheap safeties you can find after the draft, worst case.
Yep, no doubt about it. Next one from Aaron Wolf. Kyler Murray is an athletic version of Rex Grossman. Just not a good quarterback.
Guys, he's a lot better than Rex Grossman. Now, is he his peak version of himself? He's been banged up a lot in recent years, so I don't know. But if you put a good let's say you put 90% of the best version of Kyler Murray we've seen in his time in the NFL on the 06 Bears, they win the Super Bowl. He would have been a notable upgrade on that team.
Yeah.
Like, Kyler Murray gets a bad rep. He's still a talented, good football player. Now, he kind of leaves you wanting more, but he certainly – honestly, if anything, you guys should be saying he's an athletic version of Jay Cutler. There's similarities there of, like, are you fully bought into football? Because we know you're talented. We know you're capable. When you're on, you're pretty damn good. I think that's a better comp if you want to make a Bears comp. All right, Alex, I know we need pass rush, but McNeil Warren is nice. Yeah, he'd be a fun piece, man. He'd be a fun piece.
He's certainly an option at 25. We got one more from Marcus, which I'll load here in a second. It says, kind of underwhelming free agency this offseason, in my opinion, ... Poles has never really been a big spender, but I trust Ben Johnson and DA making these decisions, so hopefully next year's free agency will be more splash signings, or will make more splash signings.
How often do the teams that go splash hunting, does it work out? It's not that often. These guys are available for a reason. Minnesota spent $350 million last year in offseason contracts. Didn't really work. So I think there's a balance. You want to spend on the right guys. Like last year. Oh, Dayo Odeyingbo, he's this big long arm edge. Let's bring him in. Yeah, that's worked out really well. Grady Jarrett, that was probably an overreaction signing. Like, he's been okay, but like they have spent some. And they've spent some this year. They gave Kobe Bryant $40 million.
Yeah.
That's a healthy contract. They gave Devin Bush $30 million, who I think would have easily, not think, I know, based on watching football last year, would have easily been the best linebacker on this team. And that's what they're banking on next year. Marcus, kind of underwhelming. Oh, is this the same one you just read? Okay. Yeah, look, guys, let's complete the picture still. There's a long way to go.
Yeah.
We'll see. I would agree right now, if you played a game tomorrow, you don't have enough yet, but like you don't play a game tomorrow. So see what happens. We know they were interested in Maxx Crosby, so like it's not like they're sitting on their hands and not doing anything. Sorry, just reading a tweet.
Very good.
All right. We'll see what comes up next. Appreciate you guys for tuning in.
This will be the end.
Someone said, let's bring Brisker back. He just got signed by the Steelers. Dr. Aladdin, we signed Scrubs. Have you watched Kobe Bryant and Devin Bush play football? You probably haven't watched Devin Bush the last couple of years because he played for the shitty Browns. He's a key piece for one of the best defenses in the NFL. That defense has been very good.
We can look, this is the, in terms of the secondary, because that's where a lot of moves were made, obviously, for the Bears in terms of not bringing guys back. But this is where the defensive back depth chart stands as of right now.
Yeah, and by the way, if Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson are healthy, you have gotten better. And they make real money, so you can't just be, well, what if they're not healthy, Harrison? Well, okay, do you want to just – you can't replace everybody. Like, you kind of need them to be healthy. And if they are, you're going to be better. Clearly, Elijah Hicks, it's a long shot at best that he would start, but for now, he's penciled in there until they fill that spot, which, again, will likely be in the draft. Tyreek Stevenson, I still think is a serviceable CB2. I think they're going to add a corner at some point as well. There will be competition there with guys like Terrell Smith, Zay Frazier, and probably a draft pick. I also have Zay Frazier on the depth chart twice. That's my fault. All right. Sounds like can be – yeah, guys, we have motivated Dayo Odeyingbo. We're about to be the best defense ever, man.
Mm.
All right, I'm gassed. Long week. Thank you guys for being here. No reason to panic. I think the Bears have made sensible moves. Yes, their pass rush needs to improve. Feels like the draft is probably where they're going to attack that. They could still sign a vet. They could still trade for someone. Maybe Josh Sweat's on their radar. Time will tell on that front. Appreciate Cullen producing. I don't think we'll go live tomorrow unless there's major news, so we'll just film some fresh videos for you guys, but still a lot of content to come. So stay tuned, including we'll have my post-week 1 of free agency mock draft go out in the next couple of days, so that'll be fun. Buckle up. A lot to get to. See you soon.